Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're taking a look at some extremely fun battles in the Open Grade League featuring triple glass cannons getting wins above 3,000 elo. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Jocko Loco, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now the team features a Great League Excadrill on the lead with Shadow Dragonair and Shadow Staraptor in the back. So this team has no bulk to speak of whatsoever, but against all odds this trainer is still able to find a way to win. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches. Hopping into the first match, quickly moving the Android accessibility tools to the side and picking up an amazing lead, leading Excadrill into the Charjabug. But the opponent safe switches into Shadow Gligar, and this is a bit of a difficult Pokemon for this team. In comes the Shadow Dragonair, but up energy, Shadow Gligar does have the ability to flip this matchup. Dragonair is going to commit a shield, fire back with the Aqua Tail, but the opponent, smelling blood in the water, sees an opportunity to make a play for switch advantage and free up the Charjabug from having to deal with the Excadrill. Dragonair firing off the Aqua Tail. This Aqua Tail will pick up the knockout unless the opponent is going to use the final shield, which they do. And unfortunately, the opponent with the double shield is going to be able to win switch advantage. This is an opportunity for the Staraptor to get an energy advantage, but one fly is not going to be enough to KO the Charjabug. In comes the Charjabug, farming up energy. We see a switch into the Excadrill, and in the back, it is going to be Whiscash. Now the question is, does Exca have enough of an energy advantage here? The Drill Run will connect. Exca wins charge attack priority. Please let this KO. If it does, they don't get the move off, and it does KO. All that's left is the Charjabug, and Charjabug has no good way to get rid of the Excadrill. They fire off the X-Scissor, that will not KO, able to make it to the Rock Slide, and this will be massive super effective damage. The Rock Slide connects, Charjabug firing off energy here. This will pick up the knockout onto the Excadrill, but the nice thing is Staraptor banked the charge attack before switching out, going for the fly. Fly picks up the knockout onto the Charjabug, and that's a good game. Moving into the next match, sending Excadrill into Mandibuzz. Exca does have the type advantage, but there is a massive difference in terms of bulk. The opponent is going to safe switch into Lickitung. Exca staying in this matchup, firing off the Drill Run. The Drill Run is going to connect, dealing some very nice damage, and in comes the Shadow Staraptor. Shadow Staraptor is so glassy that a Body Slam does 50% of its HP. The Staraptor looking to farm up and fire off the Fly. Fly will hit for some heavy neutral damage into the Lickitung and pick up the knockout. Opponent is going to get outpaced here if they send in the Mandibuzz, so they're actually not going to do that. They're going to send in Nidoqueen, and Nidoqueen is able to get a farm down. Nidoqueen up energy is a bit scary. In comes the Excadrill. This is enough for an Earth Power. Exca is going to commit the shield, and the opponent baits with the Poison Fang. That's extremely unfortunate for the Exca. Exca firing off the Drill Run. This will guarantee a shield from the opponent, as they have an energy advantage on the Nidoqueen, and they do not want it to go to waste. Exca is going to be committing the shield. It's another Poison Fang bait. We see a switch into the Mandibuzz, opponent hoping for a Drill Run catch, but instead they get smacked with a super effective Rock Slide. In comes the Shadow Dragonair. Dragonair can tank any one move here. It is going to be the foul play from the Mandibuzz, but Dragonair is going to have to fire off energy. Dragonair going for the Body Slam. Body Slam will pick up the KO. Oh, it barely does not, but one Dragon Breath after does. In comes the Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen cannot get the farm down, and Dragonair takes the game. Picking up a terrible lead in the next match, Excadrill going up against Skeledirge. We see the safe switch into the Shadow Dragonair, and surprisingly the Skeledirge is staying in. This is very good news for the Shadow Dragonair, as Shadow Dragonair does have a pacing advantage in this matchup as long as it does throw on good charge attack timing. Skeledirge fires off the Disarming Voice. The Dragonair is going to farm up and win charge attack priority over the Skeledirge. This Aqua Tail is going to grab the final shield from the opponent, and now there's a choice, choosing to let this go and instead look to potentially sweep with either the Exca or the Staraptor. In comes the Staraptor. Opponent blind switches into a Trevenant, and they resign the match. We see a familiar lead in the next match, Excadrill going up against Mandibuzz. This Mandibuzz is staying in, understanding that despite the type advantage that Exca has, there is such a difference here in terms of bulk. Whereas Mandibuzz can actually survive 2 Rock Slides, whereas you're going to see the Exca can definitely not survive 2 moves from the Mandibuzz. That does so much damage, oh my goodness. Mandibuzz is now going to be firing off the Aerial Ace as we see the shield from the Exca. Exca continues to farm. Opponent tries to go for a catch or a potential snipe onto the Whiscash, able to hold on to the energy and send in the Shadow Dragonair. Opponent fires off the Scald. They're fishing for a debuff, and they are successful. So unfortunately, this Dragonair is now going to be a lot less oppressive. The Body Slam will be no-shielded, as Whiscash very comfortably able to withstand this energy. Whiscash now going to fire off the Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb is going to pick up the knockout. In comes Shadow Staraptor. Shadow Staraptor looking for a farm down, not going to get it before Whiscash is able to make it to the Scald. The Scald does not get the debuff, however. Down 2 shields, and we see a Sand Slash in the back. Going for the Fly here, not wanting to debuff the defense. The Fly is going to be shielded, and we see the combo play into the Excadrill. Exca has the back-to-back drill runs. That gets the shield, but the opponent makes a beautiful catch as they catch the drill run onto the Mandibuzz. Very nice play by the opponent. It's exactly what they had to do in this situation. And now Staraptor needs to make it to the back-to-back charge attacks or get a farm down. Staraptor cannot get there. Great plays from the opponent in this one, and they're going to be able to take that game. Hopping into the next match, we've got the Battle of Spikes, Excadrill versus Shadow Magnezone. Probably the best possible lead. Opponent save switches into a Shadow Dragonite, and it looks like we have a battle of glass cannons on our hands here. Firing off the Rock Slide, grabbing the shield from the opponent. In comes the Shadow Dragonair. Shadow Dragonair will immediately expend a shield, as a Dragon Claw would deal massive damage. Dragonair looking for the farm down and getting the farm down. Opponent is going to send in the Magnezone, but Magnezone is going to be answered with the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is going to connect. That does so much damage to the Magnezone. Magnezone is unable to get the farm down. Very unfortunate for the opponent, and the Aqua Tail is going to pick up the knockout. All they have left in the back is going to be Pelipper, and this is looking like a win. The Exca is down on energy compared to the Pelipper, but there is of course still the Staraptor available as well, and Shadow Fly just hits for absurd damage. The Rock Slide is going to be shielded up, Exca continuing to farm, and we see the switch into the Staraptor, anticipating when the opponent would fire off the Weather Ball. Very nice prediction. Staraptor continuing to farm, opponent firing off energy, and it looks like he's just going to finish the game with the Excadrill. The wing attacks very comfortably get it into Rock Slide range. Back in comes the Excadrill. Rock Slide is reached. That's going to be a goodbye to the Pelipper, and that's a good game. Moving into the next match, leading Excadrill into Wigglytuff. Again, a type advantage for the Exca, but I wouldn't be surprised if Wigglytuff can actually make a play towards flipping this, just due to the fact that Exca has absolutely zero bulk to speak of in the Great League. The Drill Run will be no-shielded by the opponent. Exca going for Drill Run number 2, looking to apply pressure to the opponent before they can fire off the Icy Wind. Opponent is going to commit the shield. They're going to be firing off the Icy Wind. We see the no-shield by the Exca, and that will pick up the KO. In comes the Shadow Staraptor. Shadow Staraptor takes massive damage, but it does get the farm down. In comes Poliwrath. Poliwrath going to be hit with the Fly. Fly should just pick up a one-shot here if the opponent doesn't shield, and they do not. In the back, they have a Jirachi, so the opponent also having some fun, running a pretty cool pick in the Jirachi. I was not expecting them to try and no-shield there, to be honest, as, I mean, everything Staraptor throws hits extremely hard. The Dragonair continuing to farm. Jirachi firing off energy, choosing to let this go, wanting to finish the game with the Staraptor. In comes the Staraptor, only one wing attack away. Great awareness of how much energy was on the Staraptor, and Staraptor takes the win. We see a very tough lead in the next match, Excadrill versus Abomasnow. Abomasnow is a big problem for this entire team. Opponent farms up 6, so they could be running Icy Wind on the Abomasnow, and they are, and look how much damage that does. Oh my goodness. The Exca deep into the red health, firing off the debuffed Rock Slide. Opponent does no shield that, and then they're actually going to switch out and make a catch onto Jellicent. Jellicent able to absorb the debuffed Rock Slide. Now, Staraptor enters the field. Staraptor farming up energy. Opponent is going to be firing off the Surf. Surf does do a solid chunk of damage to the Staraptor. Staraptor farming up, trying to play for charge attack priority to the next Surf, but the opponent ends up going for the extra, and they commit the shield. And now it's the opponent's turn as they're going to fire off their charge attack on alignment, giving a free wing attack to the Staraptor. Staraptor continuing to farm, may potentially look for a farm down here. This will be difficult, but Staraptor gets it. The question is, can Staraptor survive a Powder Snow from the Abomasnow at the back-to-back charge attacks here? The Fly is going to pick up the knockout. In the back, it's going to be Vigoroth. Going for the Fly. Vigoroth is going to respect the potential close combat. Vigoroth does get the farm down, and this could get a bit tricky. In comes the Dragonair, but Body Slam is going to do a lot, but not if you get a catch. What a beautiful catch by Jocko Loco. And that should mean game over, as the Dragonair is going to be able to farm it into a range where a Body Slam should just about pick up the knockout. Body Slam takes it to 1 HP. The Vigoroth goes for the Body Slam, but it's not enough, and Dragonair secures the victory. We see an amazing lead in the next match as Excadrill leads into another Shadow Magnezone. But this Magnezone is staying in, which is a massive surprise. After just 5 mud shots, the Magnezone is basically already at half HP. I can't imagine what they have in the back where it's a better spot to be in to just stay in with the Magnezone. They land the Wild Charge. They're not going to fire off the Mirror Shot. The Mirror Shot will not pick up the knockout. Oh my goodness, 1 HP and a dream on the Excadrill, firing off the Rock Slide. That does big damage to the Trevenant. In comes the Shadow Staraptor. It's a Gligar in the back. Definitely surprised that the opponent decided to stay in there when they had 2 significantly better responses in the back. The Fly is going to be shielded up by the Staraptor. We see a switch out and a catch onto the Shadow Dragonair, catching the Aerial Ace. Very nicely done, as typically Gligar would like to go for a dig and a farm down, whereas now they're forced to go for the double Aerial Ace due to the catch. And Staraptor, flying high, is going to make it to the Fly, and Staraptor may be able to find itself a 2 shield flex here as Fly picks up the knockout. In comes the Trevenant. Trevenant is going to fire off a charge attack, so unfortunately no 2 shield flex for the Shadow Staraptor, but we're getting a bad manners close combat that's double resisted, and it picks up the knockout. Hopping into the next match, we've got the battle of ground steel types, but the spicy version versus the meta version. As we lead Excadrill into the Galarian Stunfisk, Exca is going to overfarm quite a bit and fire off the Drill Run. Drill Run will be no-shielded by the Galarian Stunfisk. Stunfisk, no reason to bait here, so this is a very safe shield, as they wouldn't be able to make it to a big move if they went for the bait. Opponent now going to send in a Victory Bell. Victory Bell going to have to shield as a Drill Run would hit for massive damage. We're now going to see a pivot into the Shadow Dragonair. In the back, the opponent has Guzzlord, and things are honestly looking very, very favorable in this matchup. Body Slam is going to connect. The Guzzlord forced to fire off energy, and from here you can just let this go and win the game with the Staraptor, as one wing attack should KO, so the Guzzlord won't even get their Dragon Tail damage to register. The one wing attack, oh, it looks like the Staraptor did get the 1-turn bring-in, so the Dragon Tail does register, but it does not matter as Shadow Victory Bell gets absolutely destroyed. Great lead in the next match, leading the Excadrill into the Clodsire, but with Clodsire having Mudshot, I actually might need to stand corrected on this being a great lead, as with Mudshot, it has a lot of fast attack pressure, and Earthquake, of course, will completely destroy the Exca, so Exca is forced to go down a shield, as Clodsire is able to successfully Stone Edge bait. Farming up quite a lot of energy here and firing off the Drill Run. The Drill Run will easily pick up the knockout, so the opponent just taking shield advantage as they send in Lickitung. Exca farming up so much energy here, very close to the back-to-back Drill Runs, and Drill Run, we've seen, does very nice damage to the Lickitung. Able to make it to Drill Run number 2. If the opponent wants to preserve the Licky, they're going to have to start shielding, and that's exactly what they're going to do. We see a save switch into the Shadow Dragonair, but Dragonair is very far behind on energy, and that is problematic, as the Lickitung is already at another Body Slam. I don't believe Dragonair can tank this and make it to a Body Slam of its own, as we see a switch into Shadow Charizard in the back. And Charizard up energy is just far too deadly that I think this is just going to be game over. The Staraptor continuing to farm up energy here. Charizard can probably just go straight Dragon Claw because Shadow Staraptor cannot take a hit whatsoever. I think maybe a catch is needed, but you would have to get the prediction correct, and unfortunately the catch does not happen. The Dragon Claw will pick up the knockout. Can Exca make it to the Rock Slide? No, it cannot. Glass cannons go wrong, and the opponent takes the win. Hopping into the final match, leading Excadrill into Lickitung. This is a matchup that in theory should be pretty good for the Exca based on typings, but again, the difference in bulk, Exca cannot take a hit whatsoever, whereas the Lickitung absorbs that drill run fairly comfortably. Lickitung goes for the Power Whip barely does not KO, the drill run is reached, but the opponent makes a catch on a Trevenant. Exca going for the undercharge, as this is going to set up a massive farm for the Shadow Staraptor. Shadow Staraptor is a complete wall to charge attacks from the Trevenant, so this will be a no shield. However, it's a Shadow Staraptor, so even a double resisted Shadow Ball does so much damage. Opponent sends in the Lickitung, going for the Fly. Fly is only neutral, but it's from a Shadow Staraptor. It picks up the knockout in the back. It's a Shadow Poliwrath. This Fly will grab the first shield from the opponent, and the question is, can Dragonair withstand the counters to make it to the back-to-back body slams? If this Poliwrath has Power-Up Punch, this is probably game over. But they don't. They have Icy Wind. Dragonair needing to withstand these counters. Dragonair, oh my goodness. Can Dragonair withstand one more counter? That's all it's going to take. Dragonair withstands the counter and makes it to the body slam. Body slam KOs the Poliwrath, and that is a good game. All in all, these are some extremely entertaining battles. Running 3 glass cannons definitely has to be one of the more difficult team compositions to run in Go Battle League, and especially seeing it have success at high elo above legend is very impressive, as up there you'll oftentimes run into people trying the most optimized possible strategies, frequently relying on very bulky teams, so that even if they do run into the glass cannons, they can just try and win purely based off stat product. And Jocko Loco did actually get 4th place at the 2024 Toronto Regional Championships, so it's awesome to see that he can do some pretty amazing stuff when battling, not only in the Pokemon Go Regional Championship Series, but also in Go Battle League as well. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated, so thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.